right, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining me here today. My name is Michelle Baldino, and I'm here with you today for a 30-minute night moves flow. This flow is going to be more slow in nature, so maybe a little different from what you're used to if you take any of our Activate or Exhilarate, Invigorate classes. Ideally, it would be taken right before you go to bed. We're going to finish off with a brief, about 2 to 3 minute guided body scan meditation. But I also think it would complement an Invigorate class that you maybe take at the end of your workday. So check it out, and I hope you enjoy. Let's get started.
Inhale, send it high. Stay for the exhale. Everyone looks awesome. Hold it here. You guys got this. Hold for 3.
All right, we're going to begin just as you are in a seated position. If this is too much on anyone's hips, there are blocks here in the studio, and if you're at home and you don't have access to yoga blocks, grab a towel, grab a blanket, maybe a thicker book, and prop your hips up on it if it's too much. Otherwise, just find that easy seat, palm sliding towards your knees or your thighs, roll your shoulders up, down, and back. Chin and gaze is neutral. I also invite you to close your eyes as little or as often as you'd like during this class. Let's start by taking a few cleansing breaths in through the nose. Inhale. Open your mouth as you exhale. Yes. Do that again. Deep breath in. Open your mouth. Let it go. Take one more. As you inhale, imagine energy from your sitting bones coming up through the crown of your head. Open your mouth, exhale from the crown of the head, send energy back down into your sitting bones. Again, eyes halfway open, all the way or closed. Let's take an inhale and reach your arms high overhead. And as you exhale, bring your right hand off to the right, as far off to the right as you can without that left hip lifting, and then begin a gentle side bend. So you can soften through that right elbow a little or a lot. If you have the ability to lower down to the forearm, I invite you to head there as well. Good. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Take one more like that. Maybe stretch a little bit more through those left fingertips and gaze high. And then inhale, come back to center. Reach both arms up. We're going to take a spinal twist to the left. So right hand will come to the outside of your left knee. Yeah, opposite than what you were doing before. Good work, you guys. And then maybe take the twist into the eyes and peek back behind you. Good. Remind yourself that learning is fun. Take a deep breath in. Deep breath out. Allow this twist to be gentle. We're here for one more. Inhale. Exhale. And then gently bring yourself back to center and reset. Arms reach up nice and high. Now we open up through the left side. So left hand all the way off to the left side of your mat. Reach your right arm up and over and stay here for a few breaths. You can soften through that left elbow a little or a lot, maybe dropping down to the forearm, but try not to let your right hip lift. Nice. You're here for one more deep breath in. Deep breath out. And then inhale. Let's come back up to the top. Now spinal twist to your right. Left hand to the outside of your right knee. Same idea. Maybe take that twist into the eyes and peek over your back shoulder. Think of finding a little bit more space through your sitting bones and hips. Some more lengthening through your spine as you inhale. And then every exhale is an invitation to go maybe a little further. You're here for one more full breath in. Full breath out. Inhale, guide yourself back to center. Let's reach arms nice and high and slowly just melt your chest down to your mat. You can stay on tented fingers, flatten your palms, whatever feels good. And maybe take a little sway through your hips here. I know the first time you're in a little bit of a flexion with your spine. Good. And then lift yourself back into a seated position. Just cross your ankles and make your way onto all fours, coming into a tabletop position. Let's start with a few rounds of cat and cow here. Drop your belly down, roll your shoulders back. Exhale, tuck your chin to your chest, lift your belly high. So simple cat and cow. You all know what you're doing here. If you want to make it your own, I highly encourage you to do so. You can move your wrist around in each direction, giving them a nice little stretch. You can take it into some hip circles, maybe some head circles, nodding yes and no. This is your practice. What does your body need today? Let's give yourself 2 more rounds. I definitely played this cassette on repeat over and over and over again when it first came out. Really aging myself in this class. All right, let's come to a neutral spine in our tabletop. Extend your right leg straight to the back of your mat, almost like you're in a half of a high plank. So the toes and ball of your foot pressing down. Good. Maintaining a neutral spine, I want you to inhale, rock your weight forward, shoulders coming over your wrists. And then exhale, pull back through that right heel. Bring your shoulders towards the back of your mat. And then rock your weight forward and back a few more times here. You start to feel a little bit of an opening happening, particularly through the back of that right leg, especially the calf, which can tend, at least for me, to get a little tight at the end of the day. One more time to rock your weight forward, and one more time to take it back. And then come to center, find that tabletop. Switch out your legs. Send your left leg to the back of your mat, balls and toes of your foot pressing down. Take an inhale and bring your shoulders over your wrists. Lean forward. And then exhale, pull your weight back. Good. Inhale, rock it forward. Exhale, send it back. Just a few more times. Let the movement match your breath here. Good. Nice, you guys. Take one more round. And then come back to center. Bring your left knee forward to meet your right, and let's find child's pose. So bring the toes of your feet together and separate your knees a little or a lot. Reach your arms out long in front of you if that feels okay on your shoulders. If it's a bit too much, feel free to drop those arms down by your side and flip your palms up. Good. So we've been here just a little bit before in that seated position when I asked you to rock your hips back and forth. And after that, just notice if this feels a bit more comfortable on the hips and lower back. Take one more deep breath in. Deep breath out. If your arms are by your side, go ahead and reach them out long in front of you. Everyone's going to tuck your toes and lift your hips to a downward facing dog. So feel free to find some movement. Make this your own again. Whatever is calling in your body, I invite you to not overthink it and to just move there. Maybe it's walking it out together. One knee at a time bending. You can take a leg extension up in the air, fan a hip open. We will be staying low to the mat for most of this practice, but every once in a while we'll find our way back here to a downward facing dog. So really feel to explore it here. Really nice options, you guys. Notice that, or just know that if the downward facing dog is too much at the end of your day, that you can always just take child's pose instead. Good. Now from here, find a place of stillness in your downward facing dog. Take one more deep breath in and a deep breath out. Extend your right leg straight up, back in the air behind you. Then bend at the knee and fan your hips. So you may have just been here, so maybe you go a little bigger. Okay? And take some knee circles or maybe some simple ankle circles. I want you to think of sending your breath, directing it down into your right hip. And then come back to center, straight and square. Hug your knee to your nose and step your right foot all the way up to the top of your mat. You're going to press through your left heel as you lower your left knee down, and we're going to find a low lunge. So if you are a part of the tight hamstring club, like I am, I love blocks for this. Otherwise, you just keep those hands framing your front foot. We're going to move back and forth between here and a half split. So take an inhale and wrap your shoulders back, lift your chest a little. And then exhale, begin to pull your hips towards the back of your mat, straightening through your right leg. Good. Finding flow on your breath. Inhale, re-bend, find that low lunge. Exhale, straighten and fold. You're going to continue on like this for 3 more rounds. So to work that stretch through the hamstring, I do want you to keep some engagement through your inner thighs to protect the hamstrings. Really nice, everybody. We're going to finish up in that low lunge after you take one more round of straightening through your front leg. In your low lunge, if you want to finish exactly as you are, or maybe move with me, take your arms up and overhead. You're taking into a very gentle back bend here, rooting down through the back of your left foot, and then lower your hands to the mat. Tuck your back toes and lift off your knee. Let's step that right foot back and then send our hips high to downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Open your mouth and exhale. Now take an inhale and rock your weight forward. Find your high plank. Tap your knees down and lower to your belly. Good, really nice. From here, chin or forehead to the mat. We're going to slide our hands several inches back behind us and set up for cobra pose. So pressing through the top of the feet, some engagement through the quads, the hamstrings, the glutes, and the belly. Lift up a little or a lot. Exhale, lower. We're going to do that 2 more times, like you're moving through water. Inhale, ripple up through your spine. Maybe strain your arms another inch. Exhale, lower back down. Inhale, lift up to cobra. Exhale, lower down. So a little bit of a different transition here. Hips towards heels like child's pose to your downward facing dog. Yes. So coming from the child's, then finding your down dog. Gorgeous, you guys. Take your left leg straight up and back behind you, then begin to bend at the knee as you fan your hip open. Keep your hip circles big or small, rolling through the knee or the ankle. Still think of directing your chest towards your back thigh. And then come back to straight and square. Gently step your foot up to the top of your mat. Press through your back heel as you lower the knee down. Good. Maybe you grab some blocks and place them underneath your hands here. Stay as you are. Let's take an inhale. Sink your hips lower. Lift your heart higher. And exhale. Begin to pull your hips towards the back of the mat. Straighten your left leg. Flow in your breath. Inhale. Take it forward. Exhale. Straighten and fold. We have 3 more rounds. I almost want you to imagine I have one of those yoga straps around your hips. And every time you straighten through that front leg, I'm pulling your hips back with that strap. Good. One more time to take it forward and back. And then the next time you rebend into your left knee, you can hold with your hands down on the mat or your blocks. Maybe bring them up to your left thigh or maybe guide them up and overhead. Really nice. Take one more breath. And then lower the hands down to frame out your front foot. Lift off your back knee and step it back to plank. You're going to choose how to lower down to your belly from here. Always the option to tap those knees. Coming into that cobra again. Inhale, hug your elbows in. Lift your chest a little or a lot. Exhale, lower. We have 2 more rolls just like that. Inhale, lift into cobra. Exhale, release. Beautiful breath. One more time. Lift up. Exhale, tap your forehead down. Same transition. Hips towards your heels like a child's pose in your transition to downward facing dog. If you want to stay and linger in that child's pose, I definitely invite you to do so. And then from here, you're going to extend your right leg up and back in the air behind you again, fanning the hip open, bending at the knee. Not here quite as long. Come back through center, straight and square, knee to nose. Step your foot to the top of the mat. Now here's where we're going to keep building, but you always have the option of lowering that back knee down just as we did before. We're going to take an inhale and lift the chest. Exhale, straighten through your front leg. Good. Just 2 more times. Inhale, rebend. Exhale, straighten and fold. Really nice. One more time. Bend into your front knee. And then you're going to straighten and hold here for 3 deep breaths with that right leg super strong and straight. Maybe rocking up to the ball of that foot. Think of pulling your left hip slightly forward. Guide that right hip back. Take 1 more together. Breathe in. Breathe out. Now, bring your right hand to the inside of your right foot and turn yourself halfway around the mat, coming into a wide angle shape. Fingertips start underneath your shoulders. Let's lift halfway into a flat back And then exhale, refold, tuck your chin to your chest. If you want to stay, stay. If you want to lower down to forearms, or maybe reach out, grab a hold of your Yogi toe lock, outer edges of your feet, your ankles, your calves. There's so many ways of making this practice accessible, so we can do it for as long as we possibly can. I know we talk a lot about being bulldog strong in all of our yoga classes. Just because this is a night flow, a slow flow, doesn't mean we're not strong in these nice long holds. It is definitely bulldog strong to stay and settle into any of these shapes. Take one more breath wherever you are. And then reset your fingertips underneath your shoulders. Begin to walk your hands to frame out your right foot at the top of your mat. Step that right foot back and come into a high plank. You choose how to lower down to your belly. Knees, chest, chin, halfway down, all the way. Inhale, we're going to lift into cobra. Exhale, tap the forehead down. Same idea, hips towards your heels, child's pose in your transition to downward facing dog. We'll all meet up in the dog. Beautiful options, you guys. Once you land there, take your left leg nice and high, roll your hip open for just a beat, and then come back to center. Let's gently step that foot to the top of the mat. Maybe you grab a hold of your blocks again here or not. You can lower the knee or keep it lifted. Take an inhale. Exhale, strain through your left leg. Inhale, rebend. Exhale, straighten. One more time, rebend. And now strain through your left leg and hold it here. Maybe rocking up to the ball and toes of that foot again. Good. I know I have like stubborn pinky toes. As much as I flex my feet, that pinky toe wants to head in the other direction. See if you can bring it as far back towards your knee as your big toe is. Take one more breath. And now bring your left hand to the inside of the foot. Turn yourself halfway around your mat, setting it for wide angle again. Take a deep breath in. And exhale, fold in a little further. You can take this same variation of your fold that you took on the right side, or you can head into a different space. Maybe you're now walking your hands all the way through your legs, rounding through your spine a little bit more. Coming into these places where we're doing a lot of flexion in our spine is a great way to start to calm down our entire nervous system, which, if we're getting ready for bed, sounds pretty perfect to me. Give yourself one more deep breath. And slowly reset your fingertips underneath your shoulders. Walk your hands forward to frame the left foot at the top of the mat and step it back, high plank. Choose to lower how to come down to your belly. One round of cobra pose. I'll give up the option to now come into an upward facing dog since your body's been prepared. You can take that transition through child's pose or go right back to downward facing dog. Let's all meet up there. Feel this downward facing dog. Give yourself an opportunity to reconnect with your breath. It's the best way to check in to sensation in your body. Take one more full breath in. Full breath out. Now let's slowly walk our feet all the way up to the top of our mat. Separate your feet at least hip distance apart and grab a hold of opposite elbows coming into a ragdoll. So here we are in another forward fold, another way of finding some flexion through our spine to really settle and slow things down. You can soften your knees together or one at a time. And take one more breath. And then releasing your elbows, you're going to separate your feet a little wider, setting up for a yogi squat. Spin your toes out and gently drop your hips all the way down. If you want to use one of those blocks, if this is too much on the knees or the ankles, it's a great assist. Hands at heart center. Take a deep breath in. Deep breath out. We're going to find another twist here. So walking your left hand far out in front of you and then bringing it over to the left. So you keep that shoulder and arm to the inside of your knee. Take your right arm and reach it up. If you want to take it a little further, maybe spin that thumb down, find a half or a full bind. So spinning that thumb down will internally rotate the shoulder so you can come in a little deeper. Really nice. Take one more breath. And then begin to unwind. Bring your hands back together at heart center. Find a neutral spine. And then you're going to walk your right hand as far out to the top of your mat. Then bring it over to the right. Begin to lift your left arm high. Stay and hold this variation of the twist or spin the thumb down. Find that internal rotation, half or full bind for the taking on this side. Good. Don't forget to breathe. One more together here. Inhale. Exhale. Retrace your steps, hands together at heart center. And then walk your hands all the way towards the top of your mat. It's almost as if this yogi squat and child's pose had a baby. It's a combination of both. Yeah, finding just a bit more space through your lower back. Good. That's a great variation that Brittany's taking of bringing a block underneath her palms as well. And then walk your hands back together at heart center. Gently land on your bum and lower all the way down to your back. Good. Start to bend your knees and plant the soles of your feet to the mat. And we're going to come into a bridge pose. So 2 sets. The first set is going to be a bit more active than the second set. Make sure you can feel your heels with your fingertips. Take an inhale and press into your feet and lift your hips a little or a lot. And if you want to go a little further, maybe scoot your shoulder blades closer towards one another and interlace your hands on your lower back. So remember, this is our active set. Active legs, active quads, glutes, active core as well. Take one more breath. Maybe you're lifting up another inch or two. And then lower down. Give yourself a little assist of gently windshield wiping your knees a few times in each direction. And then grab a hold of one of your blocks. So again, if you're at home, a rolled up towel or a blanket actually works really, really well for this. But we're going to come into a supported bridge pose with the block here. So lift your hips and place that block on either the low or medium setting at your lower back. Good. We're going to be here for about the next 5 to 7 breaths. This might be more than enough. Jenny's coming into a great psoas opener by extending her legs to the top corners of the mat. I think this might be my all-time favorite yoga pose. So if you'd like to head there, you're more than welcome. Return to your breath. And maybe now if the eyes have been open, you consider that soft gaze, halfway gaze, or close your eyes. Let the breath take over. And let your body just receive here. Take one more deep breath. If your legs are extended, start to rebend. Plant your feet and lift your hips in order to remove that block. Place it off to the side. Keeping your feet nice and far apart away from each other, about mat distance. Take your arms out into a soft gull pose, a soft Y or T shape, and begin to move your knees a few times in each direction. We've been here many times before. And 2 options. You can just stay moving on breath side to side. If you want to linger a little longer on each side, that's entirely up to you. You have about 30 more seconds. So if you've been staying in one side and you want to switch to the other, now would be the time to head there. And then come back to center and draw your knees into your chest, curling yourself into a tight little yoga ball, maybe bringing the forehead up to meet the knees. We're going to set up for our body scan, brief meditation from here. Extend your legs nice and long. So I always joke that I'd be the world's worst meditation teacher because I'd take every meditation lying down. That's where I want you to be for this one. Make sure that all your props, your water bottles and blocks are off to the side and not touching any part of your body. Take a deep cleansing breath in through your nose. Open your mouth and exhale. So as I guide you through this brief meditation, feel free to stay with me or tune me out. Start to bring some awareness to the crown of your head. Maybe notice its temperature or the weight of your hair. Feel the back of your skull into your mat. And now bring some attention to your forehead and your eyebrows. See if you can allow your eyelids to be a little heavier. Bring some attention to your cheeks, your jaw. See if you can soften through your teeth and your tongue. Bring your attention to your neck. And now the shoulder blades, let them be nice and heavy on your mat. And as you bring some attention into your arms, the back of the arms on the floor, your mat, all the way down to your wrists, your hands. Maybe you even notice a little tingling sensation through your fingertips. Because even in stillness, there is always shift happening. And now direct some attention into your chest, your heart center, your lungs. Maybe as you're inhaling, you're noticing your shoulder blades pressing into your mat and your chest puffing up a little bit. As you exhale, you feel the shoulder blades pull away from the mat, the belly get in towards the spine just a bit. Continue to notice the breath here. The rise and fall of the chest, and now the belly. Now notice your hips. The weight of your legs, your sitting bones, the front and backs of the thighs, the knees, the shins and the ankles. Soles of your feet here on the mat. Maybe even perhaps another little tingling sensation in your toes. Giving yourself 3 more breaths to really enjoy this place of stillness. We'll take our final one here together. Breathe in. Breathe out. Start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Maybe roll your wrists or your head very gently side to side. And then take your arms overhead. Point your toes and get nice and long. And then draw your knees into your chest. Taking one arm overhead, rolling onto that side. Using whatever hand is on the top to find a seated position. Facing the front of the room, the top of your mat. Gather your hands together at heart center. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Open your mouth and exhale. Blink your eyes open. Thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this night moves yoga class. I hope it has set you up for a great night of sleep, and I will be back with you soon. Thank you.